Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, guys, I would appreciate it if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. YouTube tells me about 60% of my audience is not subscribed, so if that is you, if you could take a moment to hit that subscribe button, if you do enjoy the content, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's a simple thing, it's free, it takes 1 second, and it helps me greatly, so thank you for that. And if you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer an NBA DFS package over here on Patreon where you get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. I currently have 14 patrons over there. When we reach 25, I will be giving a free lifetime subscription away to one lucky winner of all sports. I do cover NBA, MLB, and NFL, so look for that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So we got a 9-gamer. The first game on the slate, New Orleans taking on Indiana. Top price guy in this game is Domantas Sabonis. He comes in with an 8.6 price tag. This game comes in with a 226.5 over under with a 3-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So, a decently paced game, expected to be somewhat of a high total and expected to stay close throughout. So the core plays here we could definitely be going to. First looking to Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon as always. 8.6 and 8K for these two guys. Both top usage players in the offense. Domantas Sabonis recently having some really big games, 60 and 59 DraftKings points. His usage continues to show in his production. So, this is a guy I love every single time he takes the floor. With his role in this team, so I do like him again tonight. I'm not too concerned about the New Orleans Pelicans slowing him down. Malcolm Brogdon, seeing only 29 minutes the last 2 times out due to these games getting out of hand. I would expect him to get back up more towards the 40 minutes range. And 8K, I'm going to absolutely love him. So, those two guys are really the main guys I'm always looking to on the Indiana side. You can play a Jeremy Lamb at 5.2. He also has the upside every time he takes the floor at that low 5K price range because he has been getting around 30 minutes in competitive games. He could definitely get you 40 DraftKings points at a 5.2 price tag. You'd be very happy with that. So those are really the 3 guys I'd be looking to on the Indiana side. You can play a Miles Turner as well. It's just at 6.3. At 6.3, he's got plenty of room for upside. We've seen this guy put up 50 DraftKings points. It's just a lot of times it's Domantas Sabonis grabbing the boards, taking away from his usage. As the big man in the offense. So just know what you're getting into there, but he's a much bigger discount from Domantas Sabonis. So he is, a valid play. Steven Adams is back, which is a bit of a, letdown as far as the Indiana matchup. I would like them a lot more if Steven Adams was out because he is a very good low post defender as a big man. So, yeah. That's my point there. On the New Orleans side, it's Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram at the top. I'm going to continue to fade Brandon Ingram. He's just not getting it done for his price tag. Zion Williamson is my interest, putting up 45, 41, 38, and 48 DraftKings points the last 4 times out, starting to ramp it up as far as his upside is concerned. And he's definitely my favorite payoff option on the Pelicans. I don't really like Brandon Ingram. I don't think the production's been there. Last time out, he put up 42 DraftKings points, which is great and all, but he's really struggling to even get the 40 DraftKings points. So I'm not trying to pay 8K for a guy that I don't think can get you 50+, and I'm not confident can do so. Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe at 5.9 and 5.8 both make sense as well. Priced in, the mid to upper 5K range, getting around 35 to 40 minutes in competitive games. And both pretty good fantasy point per minute producers. So these 2 guys do make a lot of sense. Chances are only one of them are going to get there. So playing both of them in the same lineup doesn't really make sense. But I would have interest in both of them. And then Steven Adams at 5.8. He's pretty respectably priced for a starting center. We've seen this guy put up 34, 31, and 36 DraftKings points. Or not respectably priced. I'd just say he's pretty underpriced is what I meant to say. It's a reasonable price to be paying for a guy with that upside is what I'm getting at. So at 5.8, they're going to need his services to slow down Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner, so he does make sense as a play, and that's pretty much the extent of my interest in this one. Chicago taking on Orlando. Nikola Vucevic comes in at 8.5. This game comes in right now with a 222.5 over-under with a 2-point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. As far as pace, very similar to the game we just talked about. There's a lot of games kind of similar in pace, honestly. So we're looking at individual matchups, usage rates, minutes, and all that stuff, and comparing. Now, of course, injuries are also a thing. Aaron Gordon continues to be out on the Orlando side, which is going to give a bump up in usage too. Nikola Vucevic, Evan Fournier, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, all of these guys become viable plays, and then you're going to get more minutes out of guys like Kem Birch and Gary Clark. Not exactly the best fantasy point per minute producer, so I mean, you could play them for value. I have a feeling on a 9-game slate there's going to be other value that opens up that's probably better. We'll see how those guys grade out my final projections for you Patreon members, but Nikola Vucevic at 8.5, putting up 45 and 51 DraftKings points the last 2 times out, and gets a great matchup taking on the Chicago front court. I'm going to absolutely love Nikola Vucevic. I don't think that Chicago is going to be able to slow him down. More of a traditional big man, but he can shoot threes, and he's going to be facing the defense of like Thad Young and Lauri Markkanen. They're not, one, tall enough, and 2, defensively skilled enough to really slow him down. So I love Nikola Vucevic. Zach LaVine at 8.4, I have been fading the last few times out because he's been involved in very slow-paced games ever since the Portland game, which I was really high on him in that game. He kind of let us down because he was priced all the way up to 8.8, and he only scored 44 DraftKings points. He's now all the way down to 8.4 and gets, one of the best matchups he's had in a long time here, and not to mention the pace is going to be a lot better. This guy was participating in like 210 over-under games, so Zach LaVine continues to be a fantasy point per minute beast this year. And this is a spot you can jump on that price tag when it dipped. And then same thing for Lauri Markkanen as far as the fantasy point per minute beast. The problem is he's a little inconsistent because he relies on shooting quite a bit for a big man. Going 6 for 11 and 6 for 12 from 3 in the last 2 games. He had big games. He put up 42 and 42 DraftKings points. Then he goes out and puts up a 14-point performance. So, lots of upside for Lauri Markkanen. Great tournament play. I wouldn't be playing him so much in cash because that's the deal with him. Evan Fournier at 6.2 continues to be a great play because of no Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's listed on DraftKings as point guard / small forward, and that's because he has been taking on quite a bit of on-ball handling duties, ironically, as more of a forward type build. But he's been bringing up the floor and stuff, so I do think that's going to open up more usage for a guy like Evan Fournier and Cole Anthony. So both these guys do make sense. I would prefer Evan Fournier just based on his fantasy point per minute production. However, I do think they're both priced for their production. You get that dip down to Anthony at 5.7 compared to 6.2, so it makes sense. Terrence Ross off the bench is a 6-man at 4.9 is the last guy that I will mention. His upside seems to be somewhat limited lately, but he continues to see his price tag decrease. He shot 1 for 5 and 1 for 8 the last 2 times out after putting up 30 DraftKings points in his most recently best game where he shot 8 for 12 from the field. So another scoring-dependent player that has a lot of upside. So once again, tournament play, know what you're getting yourself into. And lastly, you got Thad Young and Kobe White on the Chicago side. These are the last 2 guys I'd be playing in this game. Thad Young recently getting a big bump up in minutes with no Wendell Carter Jr., but he has seen his price tag continue to increase. We were playing him at 4.5, 5K, 5.7, 5.9. Now he's all the way up to 6.2. So can he get you there? Yeah, I mean, he's still putting up 40 DraftKings points a game technically, but it's going to be a lot harder. And I have a feeling he's not going to grade out quite as well in my projections as he has been just because of the price tag going up. And lastly, Kobe White, 6K. Very respectable price tag for a starting point guard. And at 6K, he could definitely get you 40-plus DraftKings points. So you can't play all these guys in the same lineup. Keep that in mind. It's like if you need basic one-on-one lineup building skills, I do offer coaching on Patreon. But, I mean, just free advice, don't be playing all these guys in the same lineup because they're not all going to get you there. If you're playing in tournaments, pick 1 or 2 maybe, but don't be playing all of them if you're trying to win the big money. So Toronto taking on Brooklyn. Right now, James Harden, this game comes in with a 241.5 over-under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. So expected to be a very fast-paced game and expected to stay close, which means we could definitely have some interest in a lot of these options. Specifically on the Toronto side, I will start with first because there continues to be no OG Anunoby, which is opening up a lot more minutes for and a lot more usage, honestly. OG Anunoby is not exactly a high-usage guy, but, I mean, the guy plays like 40 minutes. So, when you take 40 minutes out of the rotation, that is relevant. But I'm going to love these Toronto guys tonight. I love Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Norman Powell. It's those 4 guys. You don't need to get cute with anyone else. These are the guys that are going to get mid-30s to 40 minutes. Fred VanVleet going absolutely crazy last time out, going 11 for 14 from behind the arc, putting up 77 DraftKings points. Are we going to see that again? Probably not. But could we see 50? Yeah, I think that's very realistic. So at 7-9, I do have a lot of interest going there. Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Norman Powell. And I just told you guys not to be playing all of these guys in the same lineup. But ironically, on the Toronto side, I mean, their rotation is so predictable and so evenly spread, and they disperse the usage that, you know, I would have no issue playing 2 to 3 of these guys and feeling perfectly confident. You know, maybe even 4. That is stretching it a little, but maybe even all 4, honestly, just because of you get solidified minutes. I mean, in cash games, I'd have no issue playing all 4 because I think the floor is just there. They're getting the minutes, they're getting the usage, they're getting the points. In tournaments, you know, it's more so hard to see them all getting tournament winning upside. But as far as the rotation and things being solidified in usage, I mean, you got to love all 4 of these guys. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Aaron Baines at 4-2 continues to be an interesting play as well on the Toronto side. I'm seeing, you know, around 30 minutes a game since OG Anunoby went down. Only problem is the Brooklyn side's decided to go small ball a lot recently. So I do see this game turning into a small ball, you know, affair, so to speak. So, you know, they're going to be putting Jeff Green out there. So how Toronto decides to counterattack that, we could be seeing a lot of Chris Boucher minutes finally. This is a guy that's been cut out of the rotation recently, only playing like 15 minutes a game. It's a little bit of a risky proposition going here, guys, but it could pay off big time because we've seen the upside that this guy has. I mean, he was putting up like 37, 46 DraftKings points consistently early on the season. And, I mean, I don't know. Nick Nurse just decided to cut his minutes in the rotation. I don't know the rhyme or reason, but it just seems like this is the spot where Chris Boucher could actually go really benefit them with his agility and, you know, quickness out there as the quote-unquote big man, you know, comparison to the Brooklyn quote-unquote big man and Jeff Green. So Chris Boucher, a very intriguing option tonight. I think it could pay off big time for you in tournaments. It's a risk-reward option, but I think it could pay off. So, and then on the Brooklyn side, you got James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, the big 3. James Harden at 10-6. I mean, sure, you could be playing him. Differentiating these guys is kind of difficult. I mean, it's going to be a fast-paced game. It's going to be close. I really do like Kevin Durant at 9-6. We've been paying 10-1 for this guy. His price tag came down. I'm going to absolutely love him in this matchup at 9-6. His fantasy point production is very good, and he is not really an on-ball heavy guy. I mean, he can be. He's fully capable, but in this big 3 setup, we have 2 on-ball heavy guards in Kyrie Irving and James Harden. Kevin Durant's a forward, so no matter what's going on as far as ball sharing is concerned with Kyrie and James Harden, Kevin Durant's still going to get his as the forward position, the low post-up. So, but yeah, I mean, I would be playing 2 of the 3 of these guys in your lineups, not all 3 would be my advice. We'll see how my projections grade out, but you know, you do get a pretty decent discount for studs on Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in comparison to James Harden. So I wouldn't be surprised to see me playing a lot of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, just taking the discount and fading James Harden, just because you're getting $1,000+ discount on guys that pretty much have the same upside and guys that are cutting into James Harden usage when they're out there. So Harden could definitely go into takeover mode, but more than likely not. More than likely, it's going to be pretty evenly dispersed, and I'm going to go with the 2 guys that are priced at the discount. So that would be my advice. But Joe Harris at 5'8" is an intriguing option as well. He could definitely get you there with his ability to shoot the 3-ball. You get the half-point bonus on DraftKings. I just kind of think my approach with Joe Harris is going to be play him when one of the big 3 is resting. Don't play him when the big 3 is in. So, and that's pretty much my overall breakdown there. Milwaukee taking on Cleveland. This game is expected to be a blowout. So 11.5-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know what the over-under is going to be in this one, but I'd expect it to be somewhat slow because Cleveland plays at a dreadful pace. Kevin Love, Larry Nance Jr., Matt Dellavedova continue to be out. Colin Sexton is listed as questionable in this one. If he's out, we could look for, you know, Damian Dotson to get quite a bit of run. And Darius Garland would get a pretty big usage bump. So Darius Garland at 5'8" would become a very intriguing option. On the Cleveland side, you know, he already is a pretty decent option because I expect him to get a lot of minutes. Even if this game turns into a blowout, I expect him to get mid-30 to 40 minutes. So, he makes a lot of sense on the Cleveland side. And yeah, if Colin Sexton's out, I'm going to love him even more. And then we could be looking to, Chetty Osman, Torian Prince, Isaac Okoro, Windler down here at 3-2 would also get some more run if there is no Colin Sexton, as well as Damian Dotson, as mentioned, and he's only 3K, so keep an eye on that news. Damian Dotson could be a very intriguing minimum salary value play, but on the Milwaukee side, Andre Drummond, you could be playing at 8-2. The problem is Jarrett Allen's on the team now, cutting into his usage, and Jarrett Allen's 6-1 compared to Andre Drummond 8-2, and it kind of feels like they have the same roles. So I don't really know that I'm trying to pay for Andre Drummond when I can just play Jarrett Allen at 6-1. And on the Milwaukee side, I'm definitely not looking to play Giannis. I just think this game's going to be a blowout. I don't think that they're going to really need him out there a lot. Chris Middleton at 7-8. I probably wouldn't be playing Jrue Holiday at 7-7. I don't think I would be playing. I mean, I guess someone's got to score the ball, so I would pick one of these two guys. As one of my top options. I wouldn't play Giannis. I would take the discount and play either a Chris Middleton or Jrue Holiday. One of them is most likely going to have a decent game at their price tag because, like I said, someone has to score. But if you're new to the channel and you haven't watched my content, I have a guy on the Milwaukee Bucks that I play every single time that it's expected to be a blowout, and that is Bobby Portis, because when this guy gets minutes, he's an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. As seen the last 2 times out, this guy has played 24 and 17 minutes and has put up 41 and 43 DraftKings points. So, 1, that's ridiculously good. 2, that's only in 24 and 17 minutes. So if this game gets into a blowout, we're talking probably like 30 minutes for Bobby Portis. And he's only 5'4". So yeah, gonna love me some Bobby Portis tonight. And yeah, you could be playing a Pat Connaughton, a DJ Augustine, both very good shooters, both will get more minutes in a blowout. I just feel so confident in playing Bobby Portis because he's a forward position. He's going to get you rebounds as well as points guaranteed. Whereas these guards, they can spread it out. They could play Bryn Forbes, Torrey Craig, DJ Augustine, Pat Connaughton, whoever they want. I definitely have interest in throwing all these guys in as darts. If you're playing multiple lineups, if you're playing 150 lineups in tournaments, I have no issue with sprinkling these guys in your lineups. They all have upside. It's just a matter of which one of them does it. And then as far as the big men on Cleveland, you could be looking to a Chetty Osman, a Torian Prince, because, quote-unquote big men, more so forwards, but there is no Larry Nance Jr. and there is no Kevin Love, so these guys are going to continue to see pretty decent amount of minutes, so they both make sense as value plays as well. Utah taking on Charlotte. Donovan Mitchell comes in at 7-7 on a back-to-back. Not worried about that when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, young legs. There's no over-under and no spread, so we don't really have any Vegas data to work off in this one. But we do know that P.J. Washington is out. We do know that Terry Rozier is questionable, and it's looking like he is more so probable. So, expect Terry Rozier to climb back into the starting lineup, push LaMelo Ball back to his bench role, and LaMelo Ball is priced all the way up to 7-1. So the first thing that I would say is I will not be playing LaMelo Ball. He does still have the upside. He could get you 50 DraftKings points, but personally, I think it's a little too cute. Sure, if he gets you there, sprinkle him in the lineups if you're playing a bunch of lineups, 5% or whatever, but not a core play of mine with Terry Rozier coming back for sure. With PJ Washington out, we're going to continue to see some more minutes for Miles Bridges, Malik Monk. Miles Bridges putting up 32 DraftKings points last time out. He has seen his price tag climb all the way from 4.6 to 5.4, however. So, could he still get you at that price tag? Yeah, he could still get you there, but going to be more difficult on you. So, buyer beware. Malik Monk at 4.5. Also a very high upside, high risk, high reward guy. Seeing 40 and 28 minutes the last 2 times out, he put up 48 DraftKings points, then he put up 17. Very scoring reliant, but when he gets hot, he can score in bunches. And then, Gordon Hayward is always my favorite option on the Charlotte side. The most solidified role in the offense every single time out. So, I'm going to have interest in him in the mid 7K range. Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier, I would be playing Terry Rozier if he's fully go and ready to go. He's only 5'9 compared to Devontae Graham's 6'6, so I'm going to take the price tag decrease. I'm going to take the discount and play some Terry Rozier. I like him a lot at that price tag. We were paying upper 6K range, and he's all the way down to 5.9. So, you know, if he's starting and he's good to go, which I would expect him to be, I mean, he was only dealing with an ankle injury, so I think it was just, you know, a slight twisted ankle jam type of deal. So I'd expect him to be back and good to go. On the Utah side, it's Donovan Mitchell, it's Rudy Gobert at the top here. They're both priced up pretty decently, though, and they need to get you pretty big performances. I do think that Rudy Gobert is a very viable option in this game. You know, being matched up with Cody Zeller on the other side. They're going to need his presence out there as the big man. Two big traditional big men down low, so going to be plenty of rebounding opportunity. I don't like Cody Zeller as much as I have the last few times out because he's priced up to 6-1 and he has to take on the defense of Rudy Gobert. So the price tag plus the matchup doesn't really equate to having much interest for me. And then Mike Conley at 7-2 you could play. You know, pretty decent usage, similar to Donovan Mitchell, and he's a lower price tag. But we were paying like 6,000 something for Mike Conley for a while there, so that's kind of tough to even go there. And then I'd be going to Bojan Bogdanovic and Royce O'Neal as the last two options. Bojan Bogdanovic continues to see mid-30 minutes and can shoot the three ball, so he can easily get you 40-plus when he gets hot. And Royce O'Neal at 5'6" has started to see a lot more run as well. So not the best fantasy point per minute reducer. You're just talking strictly minutes. Joe Ingles at 4.9. I mean, this guy continues to be kind of faded out of the rotation a little bit, and his usage is a little low, so sure, you could go there and hit on a given night, but most likely you're not going to hit. So not too much interest there. Washington taking on Miami. Bradley Beal comes in at a 9.5 price tag. This game comes in right now with a 227.5 over under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. So, you know, as mentioned, a lot of pretty evenly matched games throughout the slate. I mean, this one's a little higher than Indiana and New Orleans game that we discussed earlier. So, second highest total on the slate. So, take that with what you will. Russell Westbrook is expected to be back at 9K. I'm going to absolutely love him. Triple-double upside every single time he takes the floor, and more than likely he's going to get you a triple-double in a higher-paced game, it seems, this year. Rebounds, assists, and points, Westbrook's good for them all. And if he is struggling, it's most likely in the points category because he does struggle shooting sometimes, but he's still an athletic freak. He's still going to get you rebounds and assists no matter what. Bradley Beal at 9.5, more scoring reliant, and with Westbrook back in the rotation, I do have less interest in him than I would. However, we were paying 10.2 for him. Now he's down to 9.5, so his price tag continues to decrease, which makes me think, you know, he definitely could get you there a lot easier than he could in the past in an upper pace game in what's expected to stay a somewhat competitive game at a 6.5 point spread. I do think that playing both of these guys is viable. They both soak up so much usage, it makes sense. Jimmy Butler on the other side is the guy I'm looking to run it back with at 8.3. After returning, the Miami Heat really struggling early on in the season. Their record is not looking pretty, and Jimmy Butler is back, and we all know how Jimmy Butler is. He's a pressure cooker. He gets the job done when the pressure is on, and they need him more than ever right now because they need to start getting some wins. So I'm going to love Jimmy Butler every single time out. Traditionally speaking, I wouldn't be playing him in easy matchups like Washington where this team gets blown out a lot because I like playing Jimmy Butler in tough matchups, but that's when we're talking about the Heat having a successful record and successful season. That has not been the case so far, so I love Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero at 6.5. I've not really been playing Tyler Hero because he's too priced up in my opinion for a while there, but he was 7.4, 7.2, 7.1, and 6.8. Now he's down to 6.5. He's the most intriguing he has been, and if Goran Dragic is out, which he is listed as questionable, but he's more so probable, so I expect him to be in. So stop that thought because he's going to be in. So, yeah, I mean, there's Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic. All these guys kind of dig into each other's usage a little bit. So it's a great matchup taking on Washington, but it's like, which one do I go to? I would prefer Tyler Hero. It's just he's priced up the most, so there's a reason he's priced up. Rui Hachimura continues to get a lot of minutes on the Washington side at 5.4, so he's an intriguing option, seeing mid-30s a game, and I think we're going to see this guy priced up in the 6K range soon enough, so take advantage while you can. I'm going to continue to like him. And then, yeah, I mean, Westbrook's back, so Ish Smith has been starting. Ish Smith as a six-man, still an intriguing option, but seeing upper 20s, it's like, do you really want to pay 4.9 for that? You could, but there's probably better options on the slate around that range and or a little more. And Well, that's pretty much my extent to this one. The great thing about this game is it's expected to be a pretty decent pace, and it's pretty predictable. I mean, the last guy you got to mention is Bam Adebayo at 9.2, the center. It's just he's priced up, and he continues to be kind of capped out at like 40 DraftKings points. Now, if there was ever a matchup for him to go off, it would be this one taking on Washington. So, I have no issue with you playing him, and I understand if you do. And just know he's priced up pretty appropriately for what he's been producing. Kelly Olynyk, Davis Bertans, interesting options as well to close it out, but both guys very scoring reliant from the three ball. Both reliant. They're kind of reliant on just getting hot from three and having their teammates feed them the ball, honestly. So if they start stroking it naturally in basketball, if you know anything about basketball, when one guy starts shooting well, usually they're going to start getting the ball to them a lot more. So they both make sense as a play that could get hot, and then their teammates start feeding them the ball, but that's about it. So yeah, it's Beal, it's Westbrook, it's Butler. Those three guys make a lot of sense in this play, and it's Rui Hachimura on the Washington side. Minnesota taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continues to be out. Karl-Anthony Towns continues to be out. D'Angelo Russell and Naz Reid are both listed as questionable. Who the heck knows what's going on with D'Angelo? That's my analysis there. And Naz Reid is probable, so expect him to be in. As far as the pace is concerned in this game right now comes in with no over-under and or spread, so we don't really have any Vegas data to work with, but I would expect this game to be somewhat slow. I mean, I'd say somewhat slow. I don't know, a little bit shy of the 220 mark or right around there, similar to the rest of the slate. But with injuries involved, we can definitely be playing some guys. Specifically, Malik Beasley on the Minnesota side. If there's no D'Angelo Russell, he's going to continue to see a bunch of usage at 6'4", so I would like him. And then on the Oklahoma City side, with no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last time out, we saw a lot of these guys get a big usage bump because there continues to be no George Hill. There's not going to be any Dort anymore, who was in the rotation last time out. So we could be taking a hard look at Kenrich Williams, who is priced now at 3.5, and gets one of the best matchups you could possibly have. Kenrich Williams had a big game last time out. This guy's a really big hustle player, so when he gets minutes, he makes a lot of sense as a play, and I think that he's a viable value play tonight. Mike Muscala, Isaiah Roby, you're going to continue to see a few minutes as well, but not quite as much interest in these guys with Al Horford back in the rotation. I think they continue to be limited. I think we see more minutes from Kenrich Williams because he's a wing, and with no Dort, this Oklahoma City team needs wings out there. But with no Shai Gilgeous, Al Horford, Darius Bazley become great plays at their price tags. Al Horford putting up 30 DraftKings points last time out in a great matchup taking on this Minnesota team. Does not scare me at all defensively. And the same rule applies for Darius Bazley, putting up 41 DraftKings points last time out. Diallo at 5.2. I'm going to love him. This guy's a very good fantasy point per minute producer, and now there's no Dort, so he's just going to get even more minutes. I'm going to love Diallo. And then you could be playing a Maladon as well at 5K. 36 minutes last time out, 5K. Makes a lot of sense. These guys literally get the best matchup possible, and they're shorthanded. So I love targeting these Minnesota T-Wolves, and I'm going to love these Oklahoma City guys tonight. Detroit taking on Phoenix. Chris Paul at 7.9. Devin Booker at 7.5. I mean, this game is going to be pretty sloppy, honestly. As far as my interest is concerned, not really sure I'm interested in playing anyone in this game. It's an 8-point spread with a 214 over-under. Chris Paul and Devin Booker are priced pretty appropriately. DeAndre Ayton at 7.1, sure you could play. Mason Plumlee at 5.5 would probably be my favorite option in this game because he's a starting center and they're going to need his minutes against DeAndre Ayton. So he's probably my favorite option. Blake Griffin and Josh Jackson continue to just cut into each other's minutes. Derrick Rose not getting a lot of minutes. Jay Crowder is questionable on the Phoenix side, which is a little intriguing because that could open up a few more minutes for, Cameron Johnson and Abdel Nader if he misses. But that's about the extent. I mean, Frank Kaminsky also at 3.4 could be a very intriguing option as well. With no Jay Crowder, and Nader's questionable as well. So, might be Frank Kaminsky time, honestly. He might be a very intriguing value option if we get the news that all these guys are out. So he'd probably be my favorite play in this game, even though it's slow paced at his low price tag. But other than that, guys, honestly, I'm not going to waste much time on this. If you're playing guys from this game, good luck. Because if you play daily fantasy sports, you need points, you need possessions, you need fast pace. And I just don't think that game is going to provide it for you. So, personally, not looking to go there too much. Kawhi Leonard, priced up the top guy for this Boston matchup. It's a 221 over-under with a 6-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. Expected to be a competitive game. Jaylen Brown is listed as questionable. So the fact that he's listed as questionable, he hasn't received he hasn't missed any games this year. The fact that he's listed as questionable actually is pretty relevant. We could be looking to Javonte Green to get the start because there is no Marcus Smart. So if Jaylen Brown is out, I'm going to absolutely love Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. Jason Tatum would absolutely be worth paying up for because the guy could shoot 30-plus times, and he probably will. So keep an eye on that Jaylen Brown news. And then Kemba Walker at 6'5". I expect Kemba Walker to start seeing more minutes here. We've seen him start to get up towards 30. He played 30 minutes last time out. In a big game taking on these Clippers, I could see him playing his first game where he plays like 35 minutes. So at 6'5", I love Kemba Walker. And then, you're looking to guys like Jeff Teague, just tops and off the bench. But as mentioned, Peyton Bouchard is questionable as well. If he is back, he could be an interesting option as well. We could be having a lot of interest in a Peyton Bouchard and a Javonte Green at 3K. So, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on the news, guys, but it could be some intriguing Boston value opening up late in this slate. And then on the Clippers side, now that it is expected to be a competitive game, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George get all the usage. So anytime that it's going to be a competitive game, I absolutely love both of these guys. So I would be having a lot of interest in both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George at their respective price tags. Pretty simple to sum it up. They get all the usage when it's expected to stay close. All these other Clippers guys are just going to kind of blend in the rotation, feed them the ball. So love both of those guys tonight. So that's my overall breakdown on this 9-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Hamidou Diallo at 5'2", taking on this Minnesota team tonight. There is no more Dort in the rotation. We've seen this guy be about a 1.1 DK point per minute producer when he is getting minutes. He gets literally possibly the best matchup you could get taking on this Minnesota squad, and is priced only at 5'2". Still, I think it's a great time to jump on this guy because I expect him to have a huge game tonight at this price tag. Last time out, taking on Houston, playing 33 minutes, putting up 31.75 DraftKings points, and I'd expect him to get even more run in this one. So at 5'2", I absolutely love this guy, and there's no doubt in my mind that Diallo is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Diallo, get him in your lineups because he's my lock of the night. That is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please just take 1 second to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. It's free. It takes 1 second. It's going to help me out, so thank you. I'll be here all NBA DFS season long, breaking down these DFS slates to help you guys become better NBA DFS players. And if you are interested in my premium and projections, core plays, data sheets, all of that fun stuff, as well as asking me questions all the way up to lock, my Patreon package is linked below in the description, so go ahead and check that out. That is all from me. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.